I want to talk just briefly about the Corona-19 virus. Now, I've been looking at many different videos on YouTube, watching the news, reading articles. I believe in keeping myself educated, and I'm seeing on a lot of military YouTube channels of individuals, quite a few, asking, should I still enlist? Or when do you think would be a good time for me to enlist in the future? Or how do I get out of my contract because I already signed? Along with, hey, I'm headed to boot camp in June. Do you think by time I finish boot camp, the virus will be gone? Okay, and I understand individuals, wanting to know the why. I do understand that. Okay, and I am by no means an expert. I do not pretend to be an expert, okay? They say chiefs know everything, and I've even made a video. I do not know everything, especially when it comes to something like this. The CDC, that's who I pay attention to, along with the World Health Organization, WHO. Those are the media that I listen to. I watch their channels, I watch their videos, what they put out. And actually, there's a real good video on YouTube, I'll link it up above, of a doctor up in Canada. He explains, I think in a very good way, what the Corona-19 virus is. If you are considering not enlisting because of what's going on in the world, ask yourself this question: why do you want to serve? Okay, and I'm not saying that to be a jerk, and I understand people are scared, but I also know, being on the other side of having served over a 28-year period and recently retiring, serving in the first Gulf War, in Iraq, Afghanistan, and throughout the world, and experiencing as much as I have experienced, if you were in boot camp right now and you were being told about this virus, or even a year from now, after we do come up with a vaccine and there's another new virus, because there's always going to be something new, something bigger, badder, worse off. And, what if you're 2 years into your contract and another 9/11 happens? What if World War III breaks out? Okay, and I'm asking these questions, like I said, not to be a jerk, but I want you to really think, why are you enlisting? I've served with so many, between active and reserve, in the Guard, with all the branches, and so many individuals enlist like solely for educational benefits. Okay, and I'm not putting them down or anything, but then when things happen, I know they beat themselves up, and they have second thoughts, and I've seen some individuals do some things that they regret later on just to get out. So, I'm only saying this because I want you guys to have a clear, be clear, laser focused as to why you are enlisting. Because when you enlist, regardless of the military branch, like I said, active, reserve, or the Guard, you are signing a blank check that includes your life. And, some people may think that's really dramatic, but I have attended hundreds of military funerals, and I really just want you guys to understand what it means to enlist and what it means to serve. Now, on the other hand, the military is going to do what they can to keep you safe. For instance, South Korea right now, they're on lockdown. Anywhere else throughout the world, they'll keep you on lockdown on the base. If they need to, they'll keep you in your barracks, locked down. If you're on a ship, you just won't be going to ports. You'll be out at sea. Okay, and some individuals may be upset about that, but think of the alternative. You don't want to contract something that we don't have a vaccine for, or we really don't know, have a full understanding of the scope of what this virus can do. Okay, and I'm speaking, like I said, for myself, but I can also speak for, I think, a lot of my brothers and sisters that have served, that also have been diagnosed with respiratory issues, from 3 different commands, I literally served right next to a burn pit, and they burned everything. And I mean, everything you can imagine, they burned, you know, including like bodily fluids. And, you know, so I was inhaling all that stuff. SPOD out in Kuwait, I don't know what it currently is, but at the time it was the largest plant in the world for manufacturing chemicals with chlorine and just chemicals that were harmful, to where there were certain days that thankfully I was not out there as often, sad to say, as some of my my shipmates, but they were out there having to stand watch for 10, 12 hours with their gas mask on. So, you know, I understand the concerns. And, you know, like now I have respiratory issues. And from the respiratory issues that I have had over the years due to my exposure in the military, you know, I have been hospitalized more than once. I have developed pneumonia more than once. Even at one point I had pleural effusion, which is where my lungs filled up with fluid. And, you know, I had to get thoracentesis more than once. So I am more than aware of that side of the respiratory spectrum that, you know, I guess in the back of my mind, you know, there's maybe a little bit of a concern, because like I said, after watching the news the last couple of days, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going to limit myself as to certain places that I go to. I'd be one of those individuals that's more susceptible to contracting something that since I have that history of respiratory problems. But, you know, if that's the sole reason you are considering not enlisting, like I said, I would just ask anyone that may be watching this video to really, you know, do some soul searching as to why you want to serve. You know, and if you have any questions, you know, I'm here for you guys to, you know, you can ask me questions and I'll do my best to answer them. But, you know, like I said, I'm not an expert on the Corona-19 virus or anything else medical, but I have my own experiences throughout my career in the military, you know, serving with, like I said, my respiratory, now considered a disability through the VA, because I do get compensation because of my respiratory issues. But just know that if it's not this, it could be something else. You know, last month it was we could be going to war with Iran. You know, this month it's the virus. You know, next month it could be something totally different. You don't know from day to day. So, you know, just ask yourself, why do you want to serve? Or if you are serving, maybe having second thoughts. Why did I enlist? And, you know, just do everything you can to keep yourself safe. You know, as they're saying, wash your hands, don't touch your face. And I know, watching any of my previous videos, I am constantly touching my face. So, my opinion, I would not allow that to stop you from serving, if that's what you really want to do. But also look at, why do you want to serve? Okay, so that's what I have for you guys right now. I hope you guys take care. Please be safe, and I hope you have a great day.